9 seconds slower. I'm just trying to imagine if that little 2 seconds was there. And at the moment, he's just about 14 seconds behind Sebogier. And that's where the battle is. And speaking to the team principal, Yari Matiladvala, yesterday, he said team orders were not there.
There probably is, but I don't know what it is.
Next is a man from Wales, Alvin Evans. Evans, just give us a feel of how it was, trying to hold on to that podium place after, stages that are a very tricky first stage. And then the other two.
Yeah, so after the first stage, we had a bit of a drama. We had a small spin and lost the rear spoiler, so that wasn't an ideal start to the day, let's say. After we seemed to get through quite cleanly and seemed to manage okay in the end.
The power stage, I know everyone talks about that because of the bonus points that come with it. What have you found out about Hell's Gate 1-1?
Well, I think from the recce it looked like it was in pretty nice condition, but already now from the first pass we can see that in fact there's quite a lot of loose stones being pulled out and it's cutting up already quite quickly, so I think by the second pass it could be quite rough in there.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That from Alvin Evans. Yeah, everyone's worried about the rocks on the stages, and everyone's talking about that. What's going to happen? I know one other person that we're waiting for is rally leader Sebogier was speaking about WRC2, because now, at the moment, what happened? What we have coming in from WRC2 is that Oliver Solberg did not nominate the Safari Rally to be one of the events where he's could be picking points, but there's been a change of leaderboard. The Kajtanovic, better known as Kaito, is currently lying 8th overall, 3 minutes 30:41.5, and that is in the WRC2 class, and he is everywhere. What we say is Oliver Solberg, he's in second place, 3 minutes 32.5. He's just about just 2 minutes behind Kaito, and Martin Prokop is in third place. Kaltundo is the best placed Kenyan at the moment after the Hell's Gate 1. He is in 12th place, which means that currently he tops the Kenya National Rally Championship standings. So that is what we're seeing. We've got Andy Kremer, Armin Kremer, Gregor Monster. He got back into rally after he was forced to retire. Then you've got Diego Sapekalapi. He's in 15th. He's had a tough run. Yesterday he broke his prop shaft in the middle of the stage, and so he was there, and it turned out to be very, very tough for him. So remember also that Tiras, that speaking to the team principals yesterday, Yari Matiladvala, he says it's just about the damage to the wings and also maybe just some body parts. That was a big challenge for him. So for the team, puncture-wise, they haven't had the worst of times. Hyundai, just a few reliability issues. So only Danny Sodo from the Hyundai team, hasn't suffered heavily. Thierry Neuville at one point had to retire, and then yesterday Sapekalapi, he had to drive off the stage, and that was right in the middle of it. It's not what anybody would do, and for Sapekalapi, he had already won a stage and was having a good run for it. What they haven't had the pace, Judan Deridis, yesterday he hit a jump, and it looks like the engine must have sucked some water, and they were not able to fix it in time for Super Rally today. So only 2 cars for Ford. Hyundai at the moment, they've got their cars, and all they're looking for is positions. And they're saying those points are very important. So Sebogier and the rest of the team will be coming through. So right now, that's what's been going on. Those are the cars that have come in so far. Ogier, Tundo, and all the others will be following later. Back to you, Tiras Wayaki, Kego Karaidi, and Daudi Kanja, back at Broadcasting House.
Thank you very much, Sir Daniel Wahome. Good coverage there. Those are some of the drivers we've been talking of throughout this entire rally. You've got to see their faces today in case you didn't watch the interviews yesterday. And I think Daniel Wahome is doing a good job down there. We've just been to Hell and back, Hell's Gate.
That is Hell's Gate.
Yeah, that was a proper 1-hour session of a good run.
Good run.
And for those that don't understand, what's happening is that these sections have been divided into 6 stages for most of the rally. So you go through one stage of the 6, and it's a race against time. It's not a race against vehicles. So you're not competing against another vehicle, you're competing against time. You finish that section as quick as you can, save on time, and that's how you start gaining points. Wow, 13.6 seconds difference in time between Sebastian Ogier, who's first placed, and Carl Rovanpera, who's second placed. And the thing that has probably saved Ogier in that last phase at Hell's Gate is that Rovanpera, despite beating him on time, he lost like 2 or 3 seconds after that turn where his vehicle almost went off the track.
Absolutely. What happened is that at Malewa 1 and Usirin 1, no, the difference was somewhere around 8 point something seconds, towards 9 seconds. But you see now, Carrera Rompera does a right offside, and the car swerves, losing almost say like 2-3 seconds. So Ogier, despite having lost his boot and the spoiler, which also creates some traction at the ground, goes ahead and beats Carrera Rompera 13 point something seconds in the leadership.
But it's funny because fate is not favoring either of them, but at the same time, fate is favoring them in the sense that Ogier has lost like the dot to his boot.
Yes.
And that doesn't work to his advantage. The wind coming in, as Wahome rightly pointed out, can blow in dust into your eyes, into your nose area, into your mouth. Even though it's covered, dust particles always find a way through. So it's sort of balanced. This one swerved, lost 2 or 3 seconds. This other one, his boot problem. But I believe they'll sort that out in the next section. We'll be seeing something totally different. There's mechanics on the ground, aren't there?
And again, Ogier was pretty lucky because the rains that beat the Sleeping Warrior extended actually to Oserian. You could see it was not very, very fresh. It was kind of like, the soils were kind of like cool. Despite, of course, he was getting some dust into his nose as he was driving his co-driver, Landaise. So what will happen is that after they go back to the Parc Famille, and then in the next section, of course, you'll see Ogier's car with the boot.
And you rightly mentioned it there. You can see they're working on those vehicles. You call that section, that area Parc Famille?
A Parc Famille.
What does that mean in
Parc
simple
Famille
terms?
is where the cars reassemble.
There it is.
And the marshals, of course, now scrutinize them. And of course, you know, like your mechanics works on what's the mishaps that you had, like the placement of the back door boot for Ogier.
Yes.
That is actually what happens. If they change the tires, of course, again, dependent again on the number of tires they have used.
Yes.
You know, the maximum is 24. 24 maximum.
Not 28.
Not 28.
24.
28 was because Pierre
carried our president.
Yes.
So he was given 28.
He was given 28.
And but the ones he used when he carried our president on the shakedown day, they were taken off.
They were taken off. They were taken off.
Oh, okay.
That's actually what happens. But
okay.
You see, the person who has actually won this particular lap at Hell's Gate is Oti Tanak. Oti Tanak is an incredible driver.
Yes.
He did it at 5:28.7. And I think he was followed by Thierry Novelle, who is also a great racer.
Yes.
Who did it at 5:30.3. But you see now, Kali here does it at 5:30.6, while Ogier, because of losing traction with the spoiler, he doesn't have the spoiler.
Yes.
Some dust is getting into his system. He does it at 5:34.2, although he's still in the lead.
So you're right when you say anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
We didn't expect that.
We didn't expect that.
And it's, I mean, he was, it's like riding, what Homes more or less said, it's like riding on the back of a Peugeot 504 pickup.
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely.
That wind.
When you're given, and I'm telling you, the winds that cross from those Kinonge area towards the Hell's Gate.
Yes.
Well, they are crazy.
So how did he manage?
But his experience also. At the age of 40 now, too much experience is cool. He doesn't care whether he's, you know, like he's not running for championship. He's just there to have fun because he was supposed to have retired in 2018. But he loves coming to WRC Safari Kenya. So he's just having fun. And when you're having fun,
you're having
then
fun.
you even tend to do better.
Yes,
than
you're
your
having
competitors.
fun.
Yes.
You're loving what you're doing, you're liking, there's no pressure.
You're right.
But there's actually pressure. But because of experience, he's coping with it pretty well.
Absolutely.
Now, what are the drivers doing now that their vehicles are being attended to? What do they, is it a refreshment section?
Pierre Roubaix re-energizing himself with an energizer drink.
Yes.
You know, this is the time now they interact, they have coffee. You know, they talk, the team principles are very important here. Like Cyril Abetibo, he's now talking to Dan Sodo. telling him, your main guy now, do something. Make sure that, he's running fifth now.
What's a team principal? He's like a head coach in a football team.
Like the headmaster of a school.
Oh.
He's the one who guides you and talks to you like a father. And then Cyril Abetebo took over from Andrea Ndamo, who was also a great fella in the Hyundai. And then we have this other rally driver, one of the greatest rally drivers, Yali Mati Rativala, who never won a championship, but he's currently the team principal for Toyota Gazoo.
Now how can
what is happening now? When they're having their tete-a-tete today, taking coffee, re-energizing, they tell Oje, you're doing great, and Kali, you're doing great. Takamoto, try to pull up your socks, but don't push Elvan so much. Because if you push Elvan so much, we might not get the 1, 2, 3, 4 like we got last year. That is the kind of talk now they are having. And for Ford, with the Rich Milliner, who is the team principal for Ford, and I think Malcolm Wilson is around, who is actually the honcho, the top guy at the Puma. He's talking to Oti Tanak and talking to the other guy. Is it Sapeka Lapi?
So what?
Who's doing it?
Where do they get this knowledge to inform the guys who actually do the? Are they former rally drivers themselves?
They are former rally drivers. They are former rally drivers. They are former engineers. Like Syria Bitabo was in this Grand Prix. He was actually the principal in the Grand Prix. Now he's actually moved to WRC. Those are very well like Malcolm Wilson was a rally driver.
Yes.
And those are either Andemo was an engineer in motor racing.
Okay.
Those are cool people that guide these young men on motor racing.
We were fortunate enough to see one Kenyan flying our flag there, Carl Tundo.
Carl Tundo, yes.
Yes, on the WRC2 circuit.
Yes.
Which is pretty much the same circuit as WRC1. Yes, but it's classed differently. How did he do?
He did pretty well because he did it at 6 minutes 34.4 seconds. And when I check at Sapeka Lapis Hyundai, I think like after losing that propeller shaft yesterday, he's not gotten to his proper mode because he did it at 728.8.
Have they not sorted out his vehicle?
It could be psychological.
What's happening?
Also.
Psychological. Okay.
And this is actually his debut. This is the first time he's participating in WRC Safari. So he is yet to acclimatize. With those Hell's Gate stones, with those sleeping warrior fesh, with the onset rains that came in later.
Yes.
It can be quite scary.
Okay.
It can be quite scary.
Back to Carl Tundo, because he's our guy, he's our man there. We weren't able to see another Kenyan battling with the rest of the crowd, or the rallying drivers crowd. We saw Carl Tundo at least, and that sort of rejuvenated our spirits. We're still in this, and they're talking of a possible second place finish for Carl Tundo. For me, even number 3 would be good enough because it's a podium finish.
It's a podium finish.
Yes, he gets to splash the champagne. That 6:34 that he's just done, couldn't he have done a bit better? We saw him, he wasn't moving that fast. And his vehicle looks like it had a bit of a problem from yesterday in terms of its structure. It looks like it had a bit of battering somewhere along the way. But couldn't he have pushed that to a lower 6?
What happens actually, they do their best. Maybe the torque could be lower compared to the WR. Of course it's lower.
Yes.
It's like it doesn't have a maximum BHP like the WRC one.
Okay.
So you say, and I don't think his car is brand new. So
there's something about it.
It's kind of like a used car that he's tried to refurbish kidogo and kind of like bring it into this rally. So you'd say even at that point, for Carl Tundo to do 6:34.4,
commendable.
Is actually a win.
Ah, good. Then Jeremiah Wahome, he was mentioned by Sir Daniel Wahome. He had a bit of problems yesterday, retired from one of the stages, but he's back, obviously, because the way they do the rallying today, and we learned that from Keiko yesterday, you can retire from one section and then come back in the next section.
Right.
What will happen is you're docked a few points here and there.
Right.
And you still get to carry on, but you can't retire on the last day. And this being the last day, you can't retire at any stage on the last day. That window shuts on the second last day.
Yes.
What do you make of Jeremiah's fate section?
In bad.
When you mechanical problems, meaning you retire.
Now, on the penultimate day, like yesterday,
yes,
Wahome, of course, will be back. Jeremiah Wahome will be back. The only thing that, of course, maybe he was pushing for still like the leaderboard up from number 1 to number 10. Then he loses so much. He loses so much, despite that today he's actually back again. I don't know how the young man Macrae Kimathi is doing. I haven't gotten reporters yet.
Yes,
but I tend to think he's still in. He didn't retire, so he's still in.
No, Macrae Kimathi, apparently, Wahome mentioned that Macrae is doing well.
Right.
Macrae is doing well. The guy that had a bit of a problem
was Jeremiah
Wahome, and that seems to have been sorted out.
Right.
So he's back in today.
Right.
But obviously today he's got to keep his fingers very crossed, because there is no second life after. I mean, today being the last day, you retire from a stage, it's like being in the old days. You're
Right.
out.
Right.
Yes.
That's the situation, and I'm missing one lady called Maxine Wahome, who was working one of our best.
Jeremiah's sister.
Jeremiah's sister.
Yes.
You know, she was always beating Jeremiah Wahome, but next year maybe she'll be in. You'll never know.
Oh yes. Okay.
Yes.
Brilliant. Just going back to Rovan Pera, I got the impression that he's now third on the list, the general list. I don't know whether you got that.
I didn't get that.
You didn't get that?
He's lying?
Third. I could be mistaken, but I got the impression.
He could not be lying third.
Yes.
Because he's actually 13.4 seconds adrift of the leader.
So there's no one in between them?
There's no one actually between them. This is still head-to-head.
Okay.
Like what we saw at Kasarani.
That's brilliant.
Yes.
Back to Otto Tanak. I know that's your man. You're hinging your bets on him to win this rally, and you said it on the first day we came together. That was on Friday, that your man is Otto Tanak. Otto Tanak did brilliantly at Kasarani. He won that particular section, fastest time, and he was number 1 at the end of day 1. Today we've seen him put in a brilliant shift.
Right.
And he's just topped that last section that we covered, the Hell's Gate 1. Why hasn't he been driving that way if he's that good? And he's that good, but why? What's the problem?
Otto Tanak has had delamination of his tires, which is a big impact when it comes to rallying. Those are some of the impacts that have really incurred in his car, and that has really kind of like slowed him down. But he's still, still with it. If we look at the performance of the Otto Tanak and Thierry Neuville, the team principals have taught them you've got nothing to lose. Push! And what I want at the Wolf power stage, where we gain 5 points, that's what they are aiming at. What they're doing right now is a recce, because they want to win those points. And you know, the team principal for Gazoo is telling his people, now you are leading 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't push your car too much. If you push your car too much at the Wolf power stage, something happens. These guys will overtake and take the podium.
You've mentioned Neuville. You and I watched him race. We were of the impression that he's driving really fast and well. Wahome was of the impression that he's had a slow run at Hell's Gate 1. We are watching the same thing, but we have differing views.
Right.
You and I thought he did well, and I'm not mistaken to assume, to say that he did well in your opinion.
Ogier, Otto Tanak or Elvins?
Neuville.
Neuville, yes.
And Wahome was of a different opinion. He was like, Neuville had a bit of a slow run on Hell's Gate 1.
Because Elvins did 5.339.
Yes.
And let's see, Takamoto did 5.484. So you'll actually come to conclusion, Elvins is actually want to stay at the podium, the tail-end podium, position 3. And Takamoto is a very good. He won at a particular stage. The element was it Elementator?
Yesterday.
Yes. Yesterday. And this time round he does 5.48.4. He's also very careful. Although his aim is to get a podium like last year. And again, might be he's been told by the team principal, Yari Mati Latirava, don't push Elvins too much. You're still young. You have a future. don't squeeze him too much, because if you squeeze your teammate too much, then they panic again, and they end up doing some crazy slip of the road and lose.
So in your
time.
opinion, Noville did well?
Did pretty
Noville,
well.
he did pretty well.
5-3, he did pretty well.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay, fine. It's just the way opinions differ. I think Wahome has seen him do better in another section of this race. And yes, just to remind you, this is just the post-analysis of the first live feed that we've had. At 1 o'clock, we shall be back to 2 o'clock with more analysis, which shall precede a live feed that shall carry on air between 2 p.m. and 3:30 p.m. And then 3:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. we'll have post-analysis of that and the ceremonial prize giving. So put on your Sunday best, like us guys here on set. It's going to be a beautiful day, a memorable day. We're looking forward to Carl Tundo getting a podium finish and flying the Kenyan flag super high. Also, we're looking forward to Sebastian Ogier or Carl Rovanpera either upsetting us, giving us heartbreak here and there, because I had predicted Sebastian Ogier would win this. So Rovanpera might break my heart. Or if you are Rovanpera, yes, one of the guys interviewed on the ground yesterday said he's pro Rovanpera. Good luck to you. You might have your heart made or broken by Sebastian Ogier, depending on the performances at that very tail end. And we're told this thing is just like a game of soccer. It's not over until the fat lady sings. So we look forward to that, definitely. Now, we look forward to that. What are we looking forward to?
What will happen actually now that they have finished? There's Hell's Gate 1. Of course, they are the park for me, refreshing, re-energizing, and looking at the technical part of it. The mechanics are very busy looking at the tires. Is this going to make it? Can we save it for the Wolf Power stage? Now, after that, they will go to Malewa 2. That will be SS17, which will be 11 kilometers. And then they will go to SS18, Osirian 2, which will be 18.33 kilometers. When you look at this scenario, you'd actually say the rally is not yet over. Ot Tanak might catch up with them.
For a podium finish.
For a podium finish.
Number 3, not number 2.
Mostly number 3.
Mostly number 3.
Number 3, yes.
Yes. And also something we noticed, and we discussed a bit about this off air. How comes that, one would expect if you're ahead of the pack, you'll be flagged off first, you'll be given the priority to race first, then the second person to race second, the third, but they're doing it the other way around.
They do it the other way. What will happen even at the finale or the Power Stage 19?
Yes.
The WRC 3 guys are the ones who will be starting. Just that if you led in those stages, you'll be last.
To be flagged off.
Yeah, to be flagged off.
To do your race, yes.
To be flagged off. That, I tend to think Sebastian Ogier will be the last one to be flagged off. Either Carl Rovanpera or Sebastian Ogier.
And what's the logic? What's the logic?
What just, why would you start? Why would you start Carl Rovanpera, Elvin Evans, Thierry Neuville, Sebastian Ogier? They start and then you end up with Gregory Munster and Carl Tundo at the finale.
Okay.
It's the climax, the crescendo, the epitome of the rally. That's the situation.
Over back to Naivasha, Honorable Ababu Namwamba, Minister for Sports, had something to say last night. Listen in.
I am so happy. I'm so happy. I mean, talk about Talanta Hela, talk about bottom-up economic transformation agenda. You can feel it here. You can see it. And this is really the perfect manifestation of sports business and the arts coming together in a seamless confluence, because Kenyans are here and they're experiencing one incredible rally experience. And anybody who has been to Vasha since Friday, they have seen the Kenyan heritage, the 70 years of the Kenyan heritage, and they have seen why the Safari Rally is the favorite, the toughest, the swankiest of the 13 rounds of the World Rally Championship. But riding on that, Kenyans are now seeing the whole idea of connecting the dots from the rally to business. And so we have had this Hustler Bazaar, and all day long we have had traders from all sorts of business angles. I mean, you have had Ushanga people, you have had guys who roast maize for a living, people who make different food stuff, textiles, all sorts of hustles have been exhibited here. But this was not just an exhibition. This was an open marketplace. So people have bought stuff, people have sold stuff, people have felt pesa mfukoni. And that is sports feeding business. Now this evening, it is sports feeding the arts. And you can hear in the background, that is sherehe going on. You know, previously you have had foreign artists really participating in this kind of thing. But for the first time, this is a purely Kenyan affair here. We have some established big names like Calligraph Jones and the rest, but we also have unknowns, virtual unknowns, rookies who are making their name here. And that is really the idea behind Talanta Hela, that we provide you with an opportunity for you to showcase what you got. And if you're good enough, I mean, you will hit the big time. So we are very excited that from the rally to business and now to the sherehe. And that is why the theme for this whole event is rally, biz na sherehe. Sports and the creatives industry is huge. It's big business. I mean, go to big economies like the US, the European Union, Germany, go to the UK. On the African continent, leading economies like Nigeria, South Africa. The most striking thing about these economies is the central place of the entertainment industry, sports, the creatives. It is huge. In Nigeria, the creatives industry is the biggest employer. And that's why I keep telling Kenyan media, please promote Kenyan content. Please promote Kenyan productions, because the more you screen Kenyan productions, the more we watch and listen to Kenyan artists, the more revenue streams we open for Kenyan artists, and the more we turn this into a big economic driver. And so this is an area that we want Kenyans to know and to appreciate as a big cog in our economic wheel. I have invited here some of our best sports people. I've invited here Michael Lunga, the captain of Harambee Stars. I have invited here Fernando Manyala, the fastest man on the continent. I've invited here Angela Okutoi, really our best tennis talent. I have invited here the captain of our rugby under 20, which is hosting the Rugby Under 20 World Cup in Nairobi next month, in the next 1 or so weeks. And the purpose of bringing these young people here is to send a message that we are serious about using sports to showcase the best of Kenya. Okay? And we want this to be connected to the arts. And so the musicians you hear performing here, we want them in the big league. The big league that enables them to live well from their income. And that's where we have penned an agreement with Tress. Last week we penned an agreement with the Grammys. We have penned an agreement with Meta, the guys behind Facebook and Instagram. We are striking a deal with Google and YouTube so that whole space of the creatives, music, film, theater, content creation can all become a source of livelihood. I am really, really excited about what is going on at KBC. We grew up feeling the rally, connecting to the rally because of KBC. And KBC would bring the rally to us through the voice of Kenya, VOK, and the voice of Kenya through legends like Leonard Mambo Mbotela, Mohamed Juma Njuguna. They would bring the rally to you in such an incredible manner. For KBC to make such a powerful comeback for me is really, really exciting. And for KBC to be the official broadcast partner with the government, with the Ministry of Youth Affairs, the Arts and Sports, for me is a big thing. So one of the big things coming out of this year's rally, as we celebrate 70 years, is to celebrate the big bang return of KBC. So, hongera.
That was the Cabinet Secretary for Youth, Arts and Sports, Honorable Ababu Namwamba, speaking last night. There was it's like a mini festival. It was at, they called it the Talanta Hela Hustlers Bazaar. Of course, so much on sale, so much being marketed, brilliant stuff, all sorts of talent. And then there was the Hustlers Bazaar, the Talanta Hela Hustlers Bazaar Sherehe. Okay, now I think I'll introduce Daniel Wahome, who's on the ground and can give us a bit more on what's going on.
The crew that was injured, and then waited for more officials and the helicopter to come, so we came in quite late.
Well, I'm sure they also allowed you to get the 45 minutes flexi service.
Yeah, I mean, we don't need flexi service, we just went straight into service.
All right. Now, look, taking a look at the loops this morning, what was the feel of Malewa, Oserian, and the power stage, which is Hell's Gate 1?
Yeah, power stage was quite sleepy. Oserian full of dust, having some clutch issues now. Some dust has got into the pressure plate. So we'll have to see what we're gonna do. We're not sure whether we should fix the car or try and see if it's gonna complete the next loop. No guarantee.
Oh, all right. Thank you very much. I hope your team will do well to fix a clutch.
Thanks.
Thank you. So there you've had it from Karan Patel. There was an incident yesterday. There was an accident, and that was around Gilgil. So they stopped, and you know what the steward said, because of what he has done, he was allowed to get into service, and they were able to work on the car and move forward. And the car that's revving just there, as it drowns my voice, is that of Carl Tundo, and Carl Tundo is now going into holding in. They go for service, and then they can take the second loop of the rally. So these are the times that you need to look out for, and this is for the second run. Malewa 2, this is going to start in half an hour. That is half an hour from now is when they're going to be starting the second run of Malewa, and Oserian 2 is going to start at 12:15. Then after that, they will go for a refuel at a place known as Oserian Twin Lakes, and at that point they will have done just over they'll have 71 kilometers to go. That then for those before Hell's Gate at just about just after a quarter past 1 o'clock, they're going to go into what is known as regroup and technical zoning. Basically, this is where all the cars end up, and I'm sure Kiko Karedi is a navigator. He can fully explain what regroup and technical zoning means out. Regroup out at 2:07 p.m. and then Hell's Gate 1. Remember, rather Hell's Gate 2, which is also the Wolf Power stage. So fast car out at 2:15 p.m. But the broadcast is going to be live on KBC Channel 1 from 2 p.m. It's going to run for 1.5 hours, and they're going to have the podium that's going to go all across the world. So the top 3 drivers, they will get their prizes, and then they will come back here, which is the Wildlife Research and Training Institute in Naivasha, formerly known as the KWS Training Institute, and that's where we're going to have the ceremonial podium. It has been scheduled for 4 p.m. and we expect His Excellency the President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, to be here. He was here on Wednesday because he had to travel to France on official duty. Then he's back, so his team is expected here, and he's going to be giving the prizes. And that is just at a place that is straight across from where I'm standing, just close to the Park Farm, where the cars spend are parked overnight. So that's where it's going to be. So at the moment, remember, 3 stages: Malewa 2 at 11:19 a.m., Oserian 2 at 12:15 p.m., and also we're going to be giving you Hell's Gate. This is the Wolf Power Stage, and remember, when it comes to the Power Stage, 25 points for winning a rally. That is what you would get. But when you win the Wolf Power Stage, you have the fastest time in that stage, you get 5 bonus points. You finish second, you get 4. You finish third, you get 3. You finish fourth, you get 2. You finish fifth, you get 1 point. And so those are very, very important points, especially for those in the championship. You'd find somebody probably like Thierry Neuville saying, I need to get those 5 points to boost my chances, because he's got what they call no man's land as far as the standings are concerned. So far, Sebogier, we were not able to get him. He played it safe, what he did, because he lost the door to his boot and also the spoiler. So it's out. Looks like a pickup, like those pickups that they used to have. I think Alex Hossie had one that he used to have when doing the Kenya National Rally Championship. So he's come in, he's got to have that fixed, because he needs that spoiler for the downforce. But still, incredible that he won a stage after he lost his door. So that's what we're looking out for. Back to you, Tiras Waiyaki, and I'll tell you that before we get the final stage, there's a couple, 2 or 3 drivers that we did not have live, but we're going to package that for you and send them over to you before that. Plus, just get the thoughts of 2 Kenya National Rally Championship drivers. Back to Broadcasting House.
Welcome back. Thank you very much, Daniel Wahome, or is it Sir Daniel Wahome, who's on the ground? Thanks a lot for the briefs. Now it's time to make that pitch. Je, wajua unaweza kuhifadhi maji ya mvua kwa gharama nafuu kwa kutumia dam liners kutoka Elgon, Kenya? Maji ya dam liners hutumika kwa misimu mingi kwa umwagiliaji mimea, ili kuongeza uzalishaji zaidi na hata usambazaji maji ya matumizi nyumbani. Dam liners kutoka Elgon, Kenya, watengenezaji wa Elgon Thabiti Fertilizer. Elgon, Kenya, transforming farms and lives through technology. Kwa maelezo zaidi, piga simu kwa nambari 0717888877 ama 0733509509. Dam liners, go for it. Interesting, my senior here.
I like the way you say dam liners.
Dam liners.
With a pen.
Yeah.
that's a super product, man.
Go for it. Go for it. Yes. Yeah. Your wife will love you more and more.
Absolutely.
And more. Yes.
Take care of the potable water.
Yes, we've received news there that Karan Patel had an accident yesterday around Gilgil, and his vehicle suffered clutch problems. He hasn't been looking happy. Even yesterday, he wasn't looking too happy. He had issues. This rally hasn't quite been his thing, but he's somehow managed at the close of business yesterday to be second placed after Carl Tundo in the Kenya National Rally Championship rankings.
But he's still on.
He's still on. His experience?
He's out of experience also. Experience matters. Like you get a mishap, but you don't panic. You keep on moving on. That's a trick.
Wow. Now let's move away from rallying a bit and look at something that Honorable Ababu Namwamba has just brought to fore. Interestingly, we discussed that off air with you earlier this morning. It's the tourism angle of this rally. What does the return of the Safari Rally on the WRC circuit mean for pitching Kenya's place within the tourism sector, both local and international Because local tourism is big, man.
Oh, local tourism actually is big. You know, those economists, those people who did actual science, they were saying the turnover for this rally will be almost 65 billion shillings.
This one rally.
This one single rally. But you're not, when you look at the publicity that this country is getting in terms of the scenery, the Hell's Gate, the wildlife, beautiful scenery, the long route.
Oh, amazing.
Wildlife, it's wonderful. And absolutely, after this rally, we'll be having so much bookings for our country. We want to, if a country like a small Belgium, every year, the turnover for tourism is 40 million people. Can you imagine? And here we want to get at least to 5 million. We'll not be having accommodation for the tourists.
You saw
but
a guy,
local rally is quite commendable.
You saw
People
a guy,
are coming from all the way from Uganda.
Yes,
Tanzania.
I was about to say that yesterday.
Yes.
You saw a guy who's come from TZ, Tanzania.
Arusha.
Arusha. He's come all the way. He's come all the way.
And he was commending KBC. He's actually been following the rally on KBC, and he decides now to come live now to Vasha. That's what young people call it.
And the
Vasha.
And the cabinet secretary has also lauded KBC. He said he's very happy with us. Way to go. I think
the coverage for KBC is quite to be able even to get those superstars, Elvin Evans or Tanak, to come behind your camera and say something on your camera. It's like those Hollywood stars, man.
Oh, yes.
Wavinya could be doing a wonderful job to be able to pull those superstars to come to KBC television, a national broadcaster.
Yes.
It's quite great.
So we should also commend our managing director, Mr. Samuel Maina, who fought tooth and nail to ensure that KBC won the rights to broadcast this particular safari rally that's part of the WRC circuit.
And KBC got the capacity. You see the live coverage we're getting from Okumu, your friend.
Yes.
And that other Wahome.
Yes.
And Daniel Wahome, sir, because of interviewing celebs, he's actually embedded with celebs now, the Park family in Nevada.
There's two Daniels on the ground.
There are two Daniels, yes.
There's Daniel Wahome and Daniel Mwendwa. Brilliant stuff. Also, we commend the government, and rightfully so, because what they've done is they've given KBC that respect. They've restored our place in broadcasting of the Safari Rally. This is where we learnt about Safari Rally, when it was known as the Voice of Kenya back in the day, VOK. And in 1989, it rebranded, called itself Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. And in 2004, I remember I was part of that team. We went a bit further in the rebranding phase. We called it KBC Channel 1.
Channel 1, yes.
Yes.
Now remember you bringing the World Full Cup? World Full Cup, yes. World Cup 2002. 2002.
And last year as well, 2022. Yes. But in between, there's been other World Cups that have been televised by the KBC. So yes, it's good when a national broadcaster has its place. This is a Kenyan event.
There's no other station that covers games, sports, like KBC.
Yes.
Television, Channel 1.
So also congratulations to our head of sport, Miss Elena Shivek. I hope she's watching. She's fought tooth and nail also to ensure that we maintain that respect when it comes to sports. And thank you for mentioning Wavinya, Mary Wavinya, a veteran broadcaster herself. She's heading the production team down there in Naivasha, and she's doing a good job. This is a bit of the footage that we've been having over this particular Safari Rally. Day 4, this is, and the final day of the toughest rally in the world. Now, Mr. Daudi Kanja, I want to find out from you. There's always that day of the rallying that's said to be the toughest of days. A little bird tells me yesterday was that day, the toughest of them all. But I could be wrong. Is it today the toughest? Is it Friday that was the toughest? Or Kasarani the toughest? You tell us.
I would say actually yesterday was actually the toughest. Penultimate day. Just the day before the D-Day. You know, because of the rains at the Sleeping Warrior. And that's why you find the likes of Sebastian Ogier were limping to finish that particular loop. At SS8, Sebastian Ogier had a problem with the wheel. One of the tires, I think, had delaminated. And Hamza Anwar He was actually leading in WRC 3. Yeah, I mean, he had punctures all over. And then he ended up retiring, although he was actually leading at a particular point. And that Paraguayan Domingo Baraguera took over. So yesterday I would say it was actually the hardest because of the rains and the muddy imbroglio of that swath of muddy.
And Karan Patel.
Fresh. Now Karan Patel.
Yesterday, yes.
He had a problem with one of the wheels.
Yeah, the clutch.
The clutch.
Yes.
Well, and those are some of the things that are looked into by the likes of Terenzio Testoni, the technical manager for Pirelli, to get to know now.
So was
can we do some kind of like improvement when it comes to muddy areas in terms of tires? It's a lot of science into it.
So was yesterday tough because of the mishaps that happened, or was it the toughest, or even on paper?
Yeah, it was the toughest.
It was built to be the toughest.
Yes, it was the toughest.
Because you remember Kego telling us yesterday that Sleeping Warrior is not a joke. He's done it before as a navigator, and it's hell on earth.
Sleeping Warrior will end up sleeping in Sleeping Warrior. Jeremiah Ahmed was able to kind of like retire. He slept.
Yes.
Of course, now taking it today again, having retired yesterday. Hamza, equally.
Okay. You mentioned WRC team principals earlier, and we've got some interviews from the ground with one or two of them, or maybe even three. Listen in, please.
The car's been performing really well. The reliability has been great. I think that's the key element, first of all, here in Safari Rally to make a result. Then the drivers been holding their horses well, have the patience, even though it's been difficult conditions. Okay, we have a little bit of a problem. I think that we lost a little bit of rear spoiler at the Taka on the Sleeping Warrior, which was in a difficult conditions. But that's just a minor damage. So at the moment we have been really satisfied with the 1, 2, 3, 4. But of course, one day to go, and we just need to keep patient. So we are not going to give any team orders. First of all, we want them to have a fair fight. But I will remind them in the morning that if you don't finish, we don't get the results either. So finishing is the target where we need to all look for. But if you fight, you're free to fight. So we need to see the finish lines. Not so many. I don't think we haven't had so many punches. The factor is this, that in this rally, I mean, it's so rough, so hard that you are putting so much pressure to the tires and stress that I don't think any tire could manage to do with the full speed this event. So whatever you do, and this is the part of the game which you have to accept when you come to the Safari, that things, you will have punches. This is the part of the game. There's such a rocks which are huge and tar sharp, and if you hit it, then there's nothing what can take it.
Yeah, pretty tough afternoon for us again. At lunchtime we were hoping for a fairly clean run through, but another puncture for Reuters meant more time dropped, unfortunately, and then a damper issue afterwards, so I had to kind of back off for the remaining 2 stages, which was a real shame. But Pierre's got through, seen some more of the Kenyan weather that can come and affect the stages, but unfortunately we also lost Jordan with an engine issue after a water splash, which may have been a result of some damage earlier in the day, but we won't know until we have a look now. But yeah, it's been a tough afternoon for us, unfortunately. But saying that, we're still in 6th, so that's good in terms of some points, and we can concentrate now on the power stage. We've just got to keep our heads up and make sure we're doing all the work on the car best we can, and give the drivers the vehicles they need to go and get those times. But I don't know, it might be hard to get some power stage, the maximum power stage points with what we've seen this weekend so far, but we have to prepare as best we can and try the best we can to get them.
Yeah, I mean, it was very difficult to keep his head down, to find the motivation, to find the energy, but because it's Safari Kenya Rally, we know that lots of things can happen, and a lot of things happen, and therefore that anything was possible in terms of standing at the end of day 2, and let's see again tomorrow. So that's why I think he kept his focus on, and he managed to not only find the road, but even build the road this morning. He was opening the road, but actually creating one. It was very challenging, but we saw this afternoon that already it was a bit easier, and therefore he could make more position this afternoon. Also thanks to the different issues that other cars have been suffering, including our own car. And that's one of the things that can always happen. So that's why it was important for it to be part of the game. Well, look, he's been doing what we expect from him, which is to be really part of it. We all know that there is some areas where he has confidence. There is certain areas where he has less confidence. We are constantly trying to improve the car so that he's got a better understanding, and working with him on the data that we have available so that he can keep on building his speed and his momentum in the weekend. But we see that it's so important when you're losing two cars to still have one car that is in the mix. It's important for the championship position on the manufacturer championship. So hopefully he can keep on doing that tomorrow. Yeah, frankly, it's the same issue as the one that we had on shakedown. We had some transmission-related issue. It's a part that's called a prop shaft, and unfortunately that hit again. It's an issue. It's an old issue. It's an issue that we know from the past. Frankly, it's an issue that the team thought that he had addressed, but very clearly it's not addressed. So we need to have a good and fresh look into that one and make sure it's sorted for the future. I think one of the things important is that Pekka be in a position first to score points in the power stage, which he should be, and secondly that he also have the opportunity to do a full wiki of Kenya rally, so that when he comes again next year, and I'm sure he will come again next year, he will have the opportunity to know all the stages. Well, the feeling is bad. I mean, let's be clear. It's pretty humiliated when you have 4 cars ahead of you from one brand. It's not what we want to see. Having said that, we need to use that, to have a clear assessment of where we are, our strengths and our weaknesses, but also get back to the drawing board and fix what we need to be fixed.
Welcome back. We mentioned team principals earlier. Those are the guys who head, if it's Team Toyota, that's the boss of Team Toyota. And Daudi Kanja here is a veteran journalist. He tells me that a team principal is like a school principal. He's the guy that has the voice that grooms. Okay, it's now time to link up again with the team on the ground. Daniel Mwendwa is at Service Park, and he'll interview our very own Pauline Shegu, former KBC journalist, now rallying.
Naam, shukran sana. Tupo katika Service Park huku Naivasha, ambapo magari yalikuwa yanakaa huku, ambapo magari yalikuwa yanaekezwa, magari yalikuwa yanatoka huku, na mashindano yameweza kukamilika siku ya leo, ambapo Sebastian Ogier ameweza kuzoa ushindi kwenye makala ya mwaka huu, akifuatwa na Khaled Van Peira na Kasuta, na tumeweza kuona kwamba kikosi cha KBC kimekuwa kikita kambi kila mahali ili kuletea mtazamaji makala haya yote. Na hapa tuko na kikosi cha KBC ambacho kilikuwa kimedhaminiwa na Wizara ya Michezo kwa ushirikiano na KBC, tukiongozwa naye Pauline Shegu. Pauline,
naam,
kwanza hongera sana. Mara ya kwanza kushiriki makala ya WRC. Pengine makala yamekuwaje?
Amekuwa vizuri sana, nashukuru Maulana. Nimemaliza stigezi 2, leo ni siku ya mwisho. Imekuwa a bit tough. Imekuwa na msukosuko mwingi, maji kwa wingi, barabara imekuwa wet sababu mvua imeshinda ikinyesha, lakini tunashukuru Mungu tumemaliza, tumerudi kwa Service Park. Hiyo ndio cha mno. Magari mengi sana yamekwama, yameshindwa kuendelea, lakini tumejaribu kwa kadri ya uwezo wetu kusukuma ile gari. Siku ya leo ya mwisho tunaomba Mungu atutangulie pia tuweze kumaliza vizuri salama salmin. Ingawaje weather unaona pia hali si vile, inaonekana kutanyesha baadaye, lakini tutajaribu pia. Unajua pia pace notes zinabadilika. Kukinyesha pia kusoma pia track inakuwa bit tricky, lakini tunaamini itawezekana. Mungu alianzisha na tamaliza.
Pengine ni changamoto zipi ambazo umeweza kupitia kwenye makala ya mwaka huu? Ingawa ilikuwa mara yako ya kwanza, ni wapi sasa utajua makala ya mwaka ujao pengine ni changamoto ambayo utaweza kuitatua?
Nitasema kwa wakati huu changamoto si vile, kwa vile nilipata gari kwa wakati mzuri. Gari nimepata ilikuwa nzuri. sponsorship kutoka kwa serikali, wizara yangu ya michezo, sanaa na vijana, ikiongozwa na waziri mwenyewe Ababu na Mwamba, ameweza kuniondolea hiyo changamoto. Nilikuwa natamani sana kushiriki kwenye mashindano haya, na vile alivyokuja akasema ana support timu ya wanawake pamoja na serikali kuu na rais wetu William Samoei Ruto, tumeweza kushiriki. Kwa hivyo changamoto mwaka huu haikuwa vile nilivyofikiria nitatarajia, lakini serikali imetusaidia sana, especially wizara na Honorable Ababu na Mwamba ametusimamia kabisa kuona tumeshiriki, na ndio kwa maana tuko hapa kutimiza malengo yake na tuweze kumaliza vizuri. Changamoto ni barabara, hali ya anga, na tunamwacha Maulana.
Makala ya mwaka jana uliaga mashindano hayo hata kabla ya kuanza kwa sababu ya matatizo ya magari, na mwaka huu ulidhaminiwa na Wizara ya Michezo na Gari. Je, pengine umekuwa na matatizo ya kiufundi au?
Nimepata mechanics super kabisa. Mechanics wameangalia gari vizuri kabisa kila mahali na wanano. Tukiangalia kwa hiyo board, nikirudi na waelezea mali fulani kuko hivi, nasikia gear iko hivi, nasikia kuko natetemeka kidogo. Nikifika tu vitu wa kwanza wanaangalia ni hivyo, tires wanabadilisha. Mwaka jana wajua tena ilikuwa changamoto ya kivyake. Tulilemewa wakati wa scrutineering. Dakika ya mwisho tu tulipoteza masaa, hapo tukalemewa. Lakini unajua wanasema kuvunjika kwa mwiko sio mwisho wa upishi. Kwa hivyo nilijua mwaka huu Mungu akijalia tutashiriki, na nashukuru niko na timu mpya ikiongozwa na Asad mwenyewe, babake Hamza, ambaye ametusimamia sote kwa magari na pia kwa mechanics wote. Nasema ni shukrani sana kwa Asad Anwar pamoja na timu yake nzima. Imetushikilia kabisa sisi timu ya wanawake, na ndio maana timu sote wanawake tumerudi salama salmin, na tunatumainia kwamba tutamaliza siku ya leo.
Asante sana. Pengine nao pia tueleze majina yako, kwa nini uko hapa?
Kwa majina anaitwa Jane Mdenya. Mimi ni shabiki mkubwa wa Pauline Shegu. She's my colleague. I'm so proud of Pauline and other women. And we are praying for Pauline Shegu. We love you. We are proud of you. Tunajivunia kuwa na mwanamke dereva wa rally. We are proud of Pauline Shegu.
Thank you. Pengine hapa pia kuna mashabiki wa kikosi cha wanawake kilichokuwa kimedhaminiwa pengine na Wizara ya Michezo. Kila mmoja tu kwa ufupi ningependa pengine uambie hiki kikosi jambo moja tu tukiendekea.
Kwa majina naitwa Philip Mondi. Nashukuru sana, sisi ni matimu wa Pauline. Tunamwombea Mungu na tumeshukuru waziri kwa kumpea support. Tuko naye na Mungu atakuwa naye atamjalia.
Asante.
Kwa jina naitwa Eric Asewe. Okay, Pauline is our colleague, our boss. We are proud of her and we are behind her fully and the team Talanta as well. So tunamwombea Mungu amuonekania.
Kwa majina ni Dickson Loyerer kutoka kwa ofisi ya Waziri Ababu na Mwamba. Yangu tumekuja mahali hapa kushabikia Pauline Shegu. Ni wa maana sana, ndio maana sisi tumekuja kushabikia yeye. Tunamwambia pongezi na jikaze.
Kwa jina naitwa Lilian Mutunga. Mimi ni shabiki wa Pauline Shegu na wanawake wote. Tunaombea kila laheri, mtashinda kwa uwezo wa Mwenyezi Mungu. Asanteni sana, mtie bidii.
Kwa majina naitwa Praxidis Barasa, shabiki mkubwa wa Pauline na hawa wanawake wote. Tunawatakia ushindi mwema. Asanteni wote.
Pia kuna madereva wengine ambao pia walikuwa wamedhaminiwa na kikosi hicho. Pengine tueleze jina yako, utuambie kufikia hapo mashindano yamekuwaje.
Kwa majina ni Jennifer Malik. So far we are doing amazingly. Mashindano inaendelea vizuri. Zile stages ambazo sisi kama wanawake tumefanya, kuna wale wanaume ambao wajafanya, gari zao ziko chini, but sisi tumekamilisha hizo stages zote, na tunaomba Mungu atuzidishie ili leo pia tumalize hizi stages 3 ambazo zimebaki.
Asante. Kama msaidizi wa timu ya mama na mtoto, umeweza kuyaonaje mashindano haya?
Naitwa Tinashe Gatimu. Mimi ni dereva, si msaidizi. Lakini naona mashindano yanaendelea vizuri. Tumeweza kumaliza hadi sasa. Kwa hivyo tutajaribu tumalize leo, tuende hapo kwa podium.
Naona umedhaminiwa na runinga KBC. Je, unahisi vipi?
Nahisi vizuri sana kwa sababu hii support wametupea ni mingi, na nashukuru sana.
Asante. Linet Ayuko, how was the race? How has it been since you started?
The race has been good. Lineta Yuko is my name, navigating Pauline Shegu. The last 2-3 days, we've had different challenges. Yesterday was tough. Hoping today for a good finish for all the ladies. It's good to see all of us at the end. We are praying for the best today. Yes.
What promise do you want to make to your fans?
We are hoping to get to the podium. That's my goal.
All the best. Utueleze majina yako pia ili mtazamaji aweze kukuelewa na utuambie so far how has been the race.
Kwa majina naitwa Caroline Ngatimu. The race has been awesome. There's a bit of rocky stuff and muddy, especially yesterday, but we thank God we brought the car.
Wonderful stuff. The interviews are going on down there. The ladies are doing well. And they really are motivating so many others, ladies, youth, and even older people, because it's just a fantastic thing that they've gone that far in the Safari Rally. Let's go back to Naivasha.
Made our way back up. Thank you to KBC, thank you to Talanta Hella and Alliances Technologies for giving us girls this chance. It's a great initiative.
What are some of the challenges you went through and you're working to overcome them in the coming editions?
I think a lot more work has to be done on our cars. It came through at the last minute, so we rushed to get the cars ready. New parts, that sort of thing. But otherwise, maybe get a bit fitter before because the endurance. But otherwise, no, it's been good.
Thank you. All the best. Chantel, navigating Tash, how does it feel?
It's really good, actually. You know, we haven't rallied together for about 5 years, so to get back in the car again together has been like basically riding a bicycle again. So it's been really, really fun to get to be navigating for her again.
Some of the challenges you went through as a crew, and you're planning to overcome them in the coming days?
Well, it's Safari Rally, so you've got to get through. You know, every day is a challenge. We are on the last day, and this is still a challenge. It's not that easy. Still got to go as slowly as you can, as fast as you can as well, without having to break the car. So just hopefully we get through the end of this day, come back and we go over that podium.
What do you fancy?
Well, thank you for coming out. You know, I've seen a lot of you all out there as well. I hope to see a lot more of you out there today, and hopefully in the coming future.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Last but not least, pengine tuambie majina yako, pengine mashindano yamekuwa.
Kwa majina naitwa Koi Mongae. Mashindano yamekuwa mazuri. It's been good so far.
Pengine ni changamoto zipi ambazo umeweza kupitia kwenye mashindano haya?
At some point gari yetu ilikuwa ina hit, but we were able to fix it. So that is the main challenge, and everything else I think it's good.
Kama mwanamke, huu ni mchezo ambayo umekuwa na dhana kana kwamba ni mchezo wa wanaume. Pengine unajisi vipi ukishiki mashindano hayo kama mwanamke?
You know, they say what a man can do, a woman can do better. So it's a good challenge, and the fact that we are racing with men, considering the sports is noted as a male sport, we are happy to be part of that crew of the male guys that are racing here. So it's good. Thank you. Yeah.
Hao ni baadhi ya madereva ambao wanashiriki katika kikosi kilichodhaminiwa na Wizara ya Michezo, na kama unavyojua ni kana kwamba kwa sasa Sebastian Oji ndiye anayeongoza. Licha kuwa mashindano hayo hayajakamilika, lakini pengine tunaweza sema kana kwamba kuna dhana kwamba dereva huyo ataibuka mshindi akifuatwa kwa karibu na Ekel Rovan Peira, lakini tutazidi kukujuza mambo hayo zidi yanavyochipuka. Kwa sasa turejee studioni.
Good job down there. Ladies, hongera, congratulations. We keep going. There's the afternoon to push, and we'll be there to push with you all the way. So stick around with us, push with us. Let's go together, Team Kenya. That's the 4 crew ladies who are being sponsored by the Ministry of Sports. They are also being sponsored by KBC Channel 1 and also another 2 or 3 generous companies out there. Thank you so much for sponsoring them. They haven't let you down. They've gone this far. And the impression may have been created at some point by Daniel Mwendwa that the rally is done and dusted and Sebastian Ogier has won it, but he corrected that towards the end. And yes, the rally is still on. So in case you're wondering what I mean by we are pushing all through the afternoon, yes, we are pushing all through the afternoon. Stay with us. KBC Channel 1 TV will not let you down. My friend, the ladies,
Oh, the ladies.
The ladies.
I'm happy to see that
the
young
ladies.
Tina Shigatimo.
Yes.
And the
her
mother,
mom, Caroline. Yes.
Doing pretty good.
Our sister,
very own
Pauline
sister,
Shegu.
Pauline Shegu.
Yes.
And the co-driver there,
yes.
Ayuko. Doing pretty good. And the Koi with the Q.
Koi with the Q,
and
who's the navigator to Jennifer Malik. And then, obviously, her full name is Wangoi Mungai.
Mungai, yes.
I don't know of her Christian name. Right. She prefers to be called Koi with a Q. And then there is Natasha Tundo, who has been leading the ladies' pack, or the Kenyan ladies' pack so far.
Born in the stable of rallying.
Born in the stable of rallying.
Yes.
Call her, she prefers to be called Tash Tundo.
Tash Tundo.
But Natasha will do it, it doesn't matter. Yes, and Chantel Young, her navigator as well. Nice and happy, smiling all the way. Guys are happy out there, the weather looks good. But obviously Pauline Shegu mentioned that yesterday was tough, which is what we were discussing earlier.
Yesterday because of the sleeping warrior, the rains, it was tough. That is the place that pushed people out of some of them retiring.
Yes.
But of course now they are back and they are accumulating points towards finishing the power stage at stage 19.
Even today was a bit tough because of the weather. It rained a bit in some parts of Naivasha last night, so today was a bit murky and tricky for the drivers. But they've made it through to that particular stage, and they're waiting for the last and final leg. We will take you there. We are just going to have a bit of a breather. We'll be right back. Well, not right back. About 1 p.m. we shall resume, and then 2 p.m. you'll have a live feed of the cars going all the way. This one is neck and neck between Sebastian Ogier and Carl Rovanpera. Stay with us and find out who has the last laugh. Thank you.
Surrender unclaimed financial assets today and avoid the last-minute rush. Do not wait for the June 30th, 2023 deadline. For more information, visit our website www.ufaa.go.ke/holders or contact us through holders@ufaa.go.ke or call us on 020-402-3000.
Je, wajua unaweza kuhifadhi maji ya mvua kwa gharama nafuu kwa kutumia dam liners kutoka Elgon, Kenya? Maji ya dam liners hutumika kwa misimu mingi kwa umwagiliaji mimea ili kuongezea uzalishaji zaidi na hata usambazaji wa maji ya matumizi nyumbani. Dam liners kutoka Elgon, Kenya, watengenezaji wa Elgon Thabiti Fertilizer. Elgon, Kenya, transforming farms and lives through technology. Kwa maelezo zaidi, piga simu 0717888877 au 0733549549.
Colgate Herbal is formulated from a unique blend of natural herbs and is scientifically proven to strengthen teeth and keep gums healthy. Try Colgate Herbal, scientifically proven for strong teeth and healthy gums.
Iwapo unakohoa, unahisi uchungu kwenye kifua, uchovu kila wakati, joto jingi mwilini, unakosa hamu ya kula au kupoteza uzito haraka bila kukusudia na kutokwa na jasho jingi usiku, waweza kuwa waugua TB.
Tayarisha ukule ugali choma.
Wali na marage ya nazi.
Na nawa tu kutoa uchafu ingine nilikuwa nimeshika hapa nyuma. Kuna rafiki yangu ameni-invite kwa 5-star hotel. Tutaonana.
Okay. Simeenda wapi?
Sukuma meno. TB yaweza kuangamiza jamii yako. Usikubali. Matibabu ni bila